Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Quisha King Show. Well, you guys, I have just been on cloud nine, just getting married to the love of my life and having a wonderful wedding only a girl could dream of, and I could not be happier. That's what I am experiencing. On the other hand, Kamala Harris, as I'm catching up, she is not doing so well, and the campaign is on a struggle bus. So I hear all of that, plus the comment of the week coming up on the Quisha King Show. As you guys know, I am in Florida, and we have had quite the hurricane season. As we are ending the hurricane season, we have had a Hurricane Helene, which did so much damage here in Florida, and then went on to do even more damage in North Carolina. So our prayers are with them. And then also, then we had turn around and had Hurricane Milton, which, with Hurricane Helene, I was subtly freaking out, not complete full freak out mode, because I was believing God that everything would be resolved in time for our wedding, and everything was. We all had power, and so we were so grateful for that, and all of the vendors and everybody who worked so hard to pull off a wonderful wedding. I'm going to try not to talk about it so much, but as you can imagine, I am just still just on cloud nine. But turn around, and then here we have Hurricane Milton. My goodness. So they were predicting that this storm would be like a Category 5, even going beyond that, and just all of these crazy things. Thank God it reduced to a Category 3, which is still a strong hurricane, and it was just massive in size. Then moved on to a Category 1. We did not experience much here in Jacksonville, but certainly, Tampa residents certainly experienced a lot. And there is word that there's been, I believe, 5 deaths so far, 5 casualties, with more to come. So our prayers are with them. We certainly, as believers, have been praying against these storms, for it to be, for peace to be, and for it to be still. So prayers to the families and everybody that is still dealing with all of that. But speaking of these hurricanes, how it ties into politics is Kamala Harris has been running around town trying to say, oh, DeSantis isn't doing what he's supposed to do. And DeSantis is like, don't come for me, honey. Do not. Let's take a look.
Governor DeSantis, NBC is reporting Governor DeSantis is ignoring your calls on hurricanes, resources, and help. How does that hurt the situation here?
Moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games with this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
Governor, I know Kamala Harris called you selfish. She said she's tried to contact you to talk to you about hurricane relief, and I know that you've said I think you said she didn't try to contact you. We want to get your response.
Well, I think she should look in the mirror. We've been on an emergency footing for 2 weeks straight, round the clock, 24/7. We've been working, my office, our Division of Emergency Management, helping people prepare for Hurricane Helene, helping effectuate rescues of people after Hurricane Helene, helping people pick up the pieces of their lives after Helene, and then have to also turn around and prepare for major impacts and maybe even more impacts from Hurricane Milton, be able to have rescue personnel ready to help people, and then, of course, help with the power restoration, all these things to do. So that's been my sole focus. My focus has not been on dealing with Kamala Harris. I saw the news report. I didn't know she tried to contact me, but I'd also say it's not about you, Kamala. It's
Right.
about the people of Florida. My focus is exactly where it should be. And I can tell you this, I've worked on these hurricanes under both President Trump and President Biden. Neither of them ever tried to politicize it. She has never called on any of the storms we've had since she's been vice president until apparently now. Why all of a sudden is she trying to parachute in and inject herself when she's never shown any interest in the past? We know it's because of politics. We know it's because of her campaign. I have zero time to entertain these political games. We're going to continue to do what we need to do to prepare and respond to what may be one of the most damaging storms in the history of the United States. So she says focusing on protecting your people is selfish. I think she ought to look in the mirror.
So as you can see, DeSantis is not having it. Kamala Harris appears to be only trying to bash DeSantis because she's running for election, and she, of course, anybody on the right is wrong, but meanwhile, Joe Biden is like praising DeSantis and the other governors. Something fishy about that with Kamala Harris and DeSantis. I'm sorry, with Biden and DeSantis. Biden seems to be not really on the same page. So there is something to see about that, and we'll talk a bit more about that. But I wanted to talk about these FEMA funds because I heard this story, they're only getting $750 from FEMA, the federal government, who is responsible for disaster zones. So when you look into the story, it appears that this money has been going to the illegals. Now, FEMA is also saying that no, it is not diverting. You have to be very, very careful when we're listening to the language of these people. So it sounds like they're like, no, we haven't been diverting funds from the disaster areas, but it does look like they have been giving funds. So this whole $750 thing that has been going around, of course, the Kamala campaign and some news outlets are saying that this thing is not real, but there are people who are saying that this is real. So I'm just going to read to you what I gather. This is from Newsweek. It says the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, has responded to false claims that money being spent on illegal migrants should be spent on disaster relief funds in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. This week, Republicans, including Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Donald Trump Jr., took issue with $640 million of FEMA funding allocated for assisting migrants after Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said that FEMA was, quote, meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have, while adding that the agency did not have enough funding to make it through another hurricane season. Quote, this is easy, Texas Governor Greg Abbott posted on X, formerly Twitter. Mayorkas and FEMA immediately stopped spending money on illegal immigration resettlement and redirect those funds to areas hit by the hurricane. Put Americans first. Donald Trump, son of Republican nominee, Donald Trump Jr., son of Republican nominee Donald Trump, posted, so FEMA is almost out of money to help with federal emergencies, the FE and FEMA, because they spent almost $1 billion helping illegal migrants over the last 2 years. The government agency has set up a page to address these circulating rumors regarding its response to Hurricane Helene, which hit numerous East Coast states at the end of September, killing at least 120 people. Addressing claims that FEMA does not have enough money to help with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, the page reads, FEMA has enough money right now for immediate response and recovery needs. If you were affected by Helene, do not hesitate to apply for disaster assistance, as there is a variety of help available for different needs. Congress recently granted $20 billion for the agency's disaster relief fund as part of a short-term government spending bill to fund the government through December 20th. replying to the rumor that funding for FEMA disaster response has been, quote, diverted to support international efforts or border-related issues, the government agency said on its specially dedicated fact-check page, this is false. No money is being diverted from disaster response needs. See, I find the language to be funny. They're saying no money has been diverted to support international efforts on border related. So they could have already directed a certain amount of money towards the illegals, and then also have another earmark for that money for emergency relief, but it still be under the FEMA umbrella of of the budget. So in a sense, what they're saying is true, and what it's true and it's a lie, but the wording of it is very funny. The problem that Americans have is that you're directing any money to illegals, okay? When the money could be used for citizens. That's our beef. I don't care that it was, oh, well, it's not technically, like this is all that technical nonsense. It's not technically, being diverted because we've already earmarked this money for the illegals. That's how they can use that funny language. Because why not just say, we're not giving illegals any money from FEMA if you weren't doing it? But they're not saying that because they can't. They would be caught in a lie. So what it boils down to is they have been using this money by their own admission. They're using money, but it has already been diverted. It has already been earmarked for the illegals. They're not diverting money. Does that make sense? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? That's what the beef is. Either way, I think most Americans would say we don't want any money being directed to foreigners coming into this country, especially when Americans are hurting. That's the beef. But this administration doesn't care about Americans, as they continue to show you through as the time goes on. Every time we turn around, they're showing us that they can't stand Americans. And that, to me, sums up what is actually happening with this FEMA money. All right, so let's get into our first sponsor of the day. There is a lot at stake in this upcoming election, but regardless of who is sitting in the White House, the fuse on the economy has already been lit. Even 4 years of a conservative presidency will not be enough to turn the tide on our $35 trillion national debt. And if the left wins, it's like throwing gas on a dumpster fire. You don't have too much control over the election's outcome, but what you can do right now is protect your savings by diversifying into gold with the help of Birch Gold Group. For millennia, gold has stood firm in the face of greedy governments, economic upheavals, and global strife, and it can protect you now. Birch Gold will help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA physical gold, tax-free and penalty-free, and it doesn't cost you a penny out of pocket. In the past 4 years, the buying power of the U.S. dollar has declined. The price of gold has increased 40%. Do you think that's a coincidence? I don't think so. Text the word KING, that's K-I-N-G, to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold, and trust Birch Gold to protect your savings. Text KING, K-I-N-G, my last name, to the number 989898 today. So now Camilla, I like to call her Camilla because my friend Chad Jackson has been calling her Camilla, and I think it's funny. Every time he says it, I laugh. I've been seeing clips of Camilla doing all these interviews since I've been preparing for my wedding and on my honeymoon and just been tuning in here and there. I'm like, oh, homegirl has decided to come out of the Biden basement. She's decided to abandon that campaign strategy and then open her mouth, and that isn't going so well either. So she's been doing these podcasts, which, I mean, that's kind of the thing to do. Donald Trump has certainly been doing his, and we'll talk about those in a few minutes. But Kamala just doesn't have that swag that Trump has. She can't go into a room and just be normal and just, relate to the people and joke and just be normal because she doesn't have any real principles. It's hard to fake standards. Sometimes people can do it. Sometimes people can do it. But with her current situation, because she's tied to Joe Biden, she's tied to his disastrous policies, she can't alienate Joe Biden's policies because part of her resume that she is selling herself is that I'm vice president. And so therefore she wants to claim that the job that they did, her and Joe Biden, is good. But on the other hand, she knows that Americans hate the policies that her and Joe Biden have been putting forth to the American people. We could all see what's happening to our economy, to our border, to pretty much everything that this administration has put its hands on. It has crumbled. And so she's in between a rock and a hard place. So when she's asked these even softball questions, but just, kind of regular questions, she doesn't know what to say. Unless she's talking about abortion. That's the one topic where Kamala just comes alive. She just shines so bright. This is the one topic that she actually is very passionate about. It's quite disgusting. So she goes on this podcast called Call Me Daddy. Okay, now, Camilla, so Kamala goes on Call Her Daddy. Call me daddy, call her daddy, whatever. It's a trashy podcast, okay? Which is, I don't know, it might be kind of fitting for Camilla to go on there, considering the fact of how she got her political start. I mean, it's kind of fitting because this is a trashy, raunchy kind of show. Anyway, this is probably the longest forum podcast or interview that she's done, and I guess not surprisingly, it's on this one called Call Me Daddy, which is weird. Like, why is it called Call Me Daddy? It's a girl. Is she trying to be a girl? But is this like a girl boss thing? Is this like I'm an independent woman? I don't know. I never heard of Alex Cooper, never heard of the show. Doesn't seem very interesting to me, but apparently she is very concerned about, her and Kamala are very concerned about being able to off your child whenever you deem necessary, because let's just keep it real. Most abortions are done by women who are using it as a method of birth control. They are not doing it because of rape, incest, or health problems. They're doing it because of being irresponsible. So let's just keep it all the way a stack. So all of these women that Kamala is trying to go after, all these fringe women that want abortion up until 9 months, which they lie and tell you it's not happening, but it absolutely is happening. They're just gaslighting you. But let's just take a listen to what Kamala says.
Our President Trump recently told women, "You will be protected and I will be your protector." What do you make of that?
So he who, when he was president, hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did just as he intended. And there are now 20 states with Trump abortion bans, including bans that make no exception for rape or incest, which we just discussed, which means that you're telling a survivor of a crime, of a violation to their body, they don't have a right to make a decision about what happens to their body next, which is immoral. So this is the same guy?
So I'm just curious, is it not immoral to unalive your child? Is that not immoral either? I don't, help me understand, because we would say that unaliving somebody else would be immoral. If a trans person was unalived, they would say that was immoral. If an LGBTQ person said that, that they were being even attempted to be unalive. Not that I want them to be, but they would say that was immoral. But somehow, innocent children don't get that same protection. I don't know. These people are just gung ho about unaliving those people.
Guy that is now saying that this is the same guy who said that women should be punished for having abortions. This is the same guy who uses the kind of language he does to describe women. So, yeah, there you go.
I do want to focus on abortion for a moment because 2 years ago,
Let's keep it real, girl. That's the only issue that you want to focus on. I guarantee, I ain't even seen the whole thing, but I guarantee you that's the only issue that she wants to focus on. This whole vibe is very much giving, I want to, be irresponsible and have no consequences for my actions. It's just giving very much girl boss. It's not giving. At the end of the day, it's just not giving. It's kind of disturbing that so many young women, that this is the issue that gets them all riled up, that this is the thing that's going to send them to the polls, that they're so passionate about. Oh, I just can't wait. Most little girls, we used to, when we grew up, I would imagine this young woman here too, Alex too, probably Kamala too, most women, most girls, your dream is to be a wife and a mom. Most of us, you fantasize about being what you're going to be like as a wife and a mother. That's how we're made. Most of us come like that. Something happens, you listen to the culture, or something happens to you, or you have some experience where you end up like this young woman here, or like a Kamala, where you totally disregard your natural instincts, and then you just reject that altogether, and many times you end up miserable and unhappy. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic, but I'm just saying, children, a family, it brings you a lot of joy and happiness. And so that's why we see a lot of these single girl boss women so miserable and bitter, because they have rejected what is natural within them, and they're trying to accept a role that is not theirs, like this call her daddy. Like the whole idea, it is exactly like what we talked about in the occult feminism. It's not just men, not just women wanting to have the same rights as men. It is women wanting to literally be men. Call her daddy. You want to be a man. That's what you want. That's feminism, like peak feminism. Call her daddy. Girl, sit down somewhere. You are following into this culture that has told you that it's cool and you boss moving it and you doing all of this stuff, and you're going to end up miserable. I'm sorry to tell you. I hate to break it to you. You're going to have stacks on stacks on stacks of bodies, if you don't already, and you will be ran through, as the kids say, in the streets, and you will be for the streets. And ain't nobody going to want to bring that home to mama.
Roe v. Wade was overturned and women lost their constitutional right to an abortion. I put out an episode about it. I flew to North Carolina. Yeah. I went to a preferred women's health center. I met with women that were getting screamed at and chanted at and called baby killers. And it was the most eye-opening experience I've ever had, because I am a privileged white woman that lives in Los Angeles, and I am so aware of that. I understand that a lot of the younger generation see...
Because that's what it is. That's what the black and brown women want. We just got to have abortions. That's what we want. And she's a privileged white woman. So she can just walk right into her abortion clinic with no questions asked, as if that is what black and brown women are lacking, is abortion rights. Black women lead in abortion. Lead. Okay? It is not something that black women are struggling to get. You can have it on the ready. My goodness.
These things online, and it's like, what is right, what is wrong, what is real, what is not. Can you explain and talk about what is actually happening to abortion access right now in this country.
Yeah. So again, I thank you for what you've been doing and at the earliest stage of this and following the stories. So, on public policy, I often tell my team, look, I don't want to hear about public policy is a fancy kind of speech or paper. Tell me how it'll affect a real person. So let's talk about how it affects a real person. The majority of women who receive abortion care are mothers. So if she's in a state, and by the way, every state in the South, except for Virginia, has an abortion ban, okay? So imagine she's in a state with an abortion ban. 1 out of 3 women are.
Okay, this is just a flat out lie, okay? This idea that, even when Roe v. Wade was a federal law, unconstitutionally, I might add, it still had restrictions on abortion, okay? There were states who had, they had limits, I think up to 26 weeks federally, but I think states could still have some leeway with what they did with abortion. Now it's kicked back to the states. And it's not Trump's abortion ban. States still have restrictions. Some are more restrictive than others, but states still have restrictions just like Roe v. Wade had. Okay, so it's not like when Roe v. Wade was overturned and then restrictions came into place. That is not what happened. If you're going to be gung-ho about this topic, at least know the truth about the topic. Let it speak for itself. If this is the hill that you want to die on, at least know when somebody is lying to you about it. Like, don't just believe what they're telling you, because it's just not true. You should know what the freak is going on, especially if it's a topic that you care about. You should know what is going on. Kamala has a problem with lying. She is flat out lying about Trump supporting abortion bans. Trump is he is way more liberal on abortion than most conservatives. He's getting criticism from conservatives, from pro-life conservatives, because they feel like he is not restrictive enough. He thinks a 6-week abortion ban is too much. He thinks a heartbeat bill is too much. He thinks that's too restrictive. Okay? So this woman is lying to you. His wife has even come out and shown her support for this. So Trump, at least you ain't got to lie, Craig. You just ain't got to lie. Even on the IVF, Trump has never said he's against IVF. He is for it. He is for IVF. Like, I don't even understand why you got to do all of this. Like, just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. There are plenty of other things that you could knock Trump on. Like, that's just not one of them. Like, why you got to lie? Kamala then makes her rounds to 60 Minutes, where she's actually faces a teeny tiny bit of pushback from the host. And not only did she receive pushback, but it looks like 60 Minutes did a bit of doctoring of the interview. Of course, they edited the interview. They should not be editing the interview, especially when this candidate has barely sat for interviews in the first place. And then they want to edit the ones that she has done. Stop covering for her. That is not your job. Do your freaking job. Let her speak for herself. She's a big girl. She can handle it.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Listen, the girl ain't too bright, okay? She just ain't. Like Kamala, I don't know. I heard my friend Chuck, Teach Him Chuck, say he thinks she's lazy. I think that might be a part of it. I think Kamala has not really had to do, Camilla. I don't think she's really had to do much of anything. I think her being a woman, I think her being fairly attractive, I think it has gotten her places where she could use her beauty and her femininity to bamboozle her way through politics. And now she's on the front page and she's in the mainstream and she's running for president of the United States. And again, she has the media helping her. It doesn't seem like she's really had to stand on her own 2 feet to prove herself. I mean, time after time after time, again, she just never knows what to say. And I mean, you can't, on one hand, she really can't say anything because if she says that the border is a mess, then she's admitting that she failed. Then on the other hand, if she says that we're going to, this is what we're going to do, then people are like, okay, well, why don't you do it now? So because she knows she's not really going to do it and she can't push away from her progressive, aka communist wing of the party, which she very much is in line with, she's stuck between a rock and a hard place because the American people don't want this. Most of us are not communists. Even if we don't really understand communism, we know we don't want this. We don't want this. Whatever this is, we don't want it. We don't want it. And it is not in line with our American values. It is not. And so, I mean, hey, Kamala is the first. She ain't real. Maybe her values ain't really American, okay? Maybe they're not. Because it definitely seems hard for people like her and Barack Obama to understand what America is all about. It seems like they have an affinity for other countries, for everyone but America. But, what do I know? Also, Kamala took her little self on The View. And she's getting pushed back on that one as well. I haven't seen any interviews where people are like, yes, she actually did pretty well. So she is asked on The View a very important question. What would you have done differently than Biden? Y'all listen to what the woman said.
Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Well, there you have it, folks. She does not believe that she would have done anything differently. So she is cool with exactly where the country is. I'm telling you, the more this woman talks, the more she tells you exactly who she is. She tells you exactly who she is. And the funny thing about it is that Biden ain't helping. Biden done put on a MAGA hat, a Trump 2024 hat.
Even my presidential hat, presidential seal on it.
You want to autograph it?
Oh, sure, I'll autograph it.
Huh?
Yeah.
Remember your name?
I don't remember my name. I'm slow.
You're old part. You're an old part.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm an old guy.
And you're an old part, right?
I know you would know about that.
What?
About being old.
Oh, I know.
There you go, man. I need that hat.
You want my autograph?
Hell no.
You know my name. Come on.
I ain't going that far.
Yeah. Said you would do a selfie. There he goes. Hey, I'm proud of you now. Huh?
Just remember, no eating dogs and cats.
Biden is on one hand praising DeSantis while Kamala is out here bashing him. Biden held a press conference about the hurricane while Kamala was doing a rally. So he is basically upstaging her. it's a whole hot mess. And if you want to ask me, I believe that Biden is pissed off that they have kicked him out of they kicked him off the campaign trail. Because 1 second Biden was like, I'm not going anywhere. And he firmly believed and clearly still believes that he's the only one that could have beaten Trump. And so he's like, okay, fine. You wanted this, you can have it. This is what y'all wanted. So it doesn't even look like Biden is trying to help Kamala at this point. Okay, you guys, let's move on to our next sponsor. That would be yours truly, my very own product, Gold Lush. So guys, if you struggle with acne, if you struggle with dark spots on your skin, I was struggling with cystic acne. If your skin is too dry, if it's too oily, I think I have a solution for you. It is Gold Lush. I have been using Gold Lush for over 10 years on my face. I use it as a makeup remover and as a cleanser, and it has done my skin wonders. I am telling you, you do not want to sleep on this oil cleanser. It is all natural. The all natural ingredients are rich in vitamin A, vitamin D, and vitamin K. It puts in the good oil while taking out the bad oil and leaving your skin fresh and nourished and moisturized. So while most cleansers, they actually strip your skin of all of its good nutrients, Gold Lush does not do that. Like I said, it leaves in the good while it takes out the bad. It is a game changer. And instead of a bunch of different products, I can just kind of use Gold Lush as my go-to cleanser. And right now, for a limited time, you can get free shipping and a free 30-day money-back guarantee. So go on over to godstuffbeauty.com and get you some Gold Lush today. That is godstuffbeauty.com for your free shipping on Gold Lush and a free 30-day money-back guarantee. My skin has never felt so good. The reviews are incredible. And this is a company that is in line with your values. So if you want to support conservative Christian businesses, this is your chance. Go on over to godstuffbeauty.com. Meanwhile, so Donald Trump has been doing his own podcast, but he's actually doing very well. Check out this interview with him and Andrew Schultz, who is a comedian.
Right. This was a chart on immigration because I have the record. I did a great job in immigration. They are not doing too well right now.
Stay on the breaking news. Stay on the breaking news.
So here's the breaking news. So you have this shooter and you have another shooter, right? Yeah. So this shooter had 3 or so cell phones. The FBI's never gotten them opened.
Wow.
The other shooter, 3 apps, they call them. And I believe they were foreign-based apps, from what I understand.
Oh, wow.
They haven't opened them, and they're foreign-based. And, you hear all about Iran, because I was rough with Iran, but I want to see Iran do great.
Yeah.
But I want to stop all the killing and all this. And I was rough on Iran, and they supposedly have a hit on me. In fact, I think it takes great courage for you people to be interviewing me, because it could be now,
Yeah. Well, we didn't know that before we got in here.
No, if you would have known that, you might not have done this.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, this is a good way of me getting the interview to be shorter. All of a sudden, he's going to say, okay, that's it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Go see my daughter.
Yeah.
So as you can see, Trump has no problem going in being his total self. He doesn't bumble and stumble around. I think it's because Trump actually, even though on these shows, we all know when Trump does rallies and he speaks in sound bites, and he does the same on his podcast. But the one thing about Trump is that we've gotten used to that. We haven't heard very much from Kamala Harris. So when we're struggling to kind of understand where she's coming from, where we've had the benefit of knowing kind of and getting used to the personality of Trump for the last, 10 years, plus the time when he wasn't in politics, you got Kamala, who's bumbling and stumbling and just constantly sounding like she doesn't know what the freak she's talking about. And it is a stark difference between Trump and Kamala. Trump has issues that he is actually knowledgeable about. He has been president. He has worked on these things, where Kamala is just an utter failure. So, I'm not trying to, I think we're going to see more politicians going on, podcasts and things like that. I don't necessarily have a problem with it. The call me daddy, I think that's trashy. But that's Kamala. And I mean, quite frankly, they appeal to that kind of people. I think they are trying to appeal to that weird part of the country. Yeah, I'm going to call it that. I mean, one of Kamala Harris's first stop was the drag queen show. I mean, that's what they like. They got Tim Walz, the bumbling. He wants to put tampons in boys' bathrooms. That's what they do. Like, they like that weird stuff. They're into that. And so, I mean, I think they're trying to appeal to that group of people. But Trump just doesn't. He has more of an ease. And as we can see, even with this clip with on the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne the God, he says, yeah, J.D. Vance and Trump are appealing to men better. They are appealing to Americans better, problems in America. And he himself says that, if you look at some of the Democrats, they are always talking about, issues that are outside of Americans and not really resonating with the American people. All right, you guys. So to round this on up, we got to get to our Commie of the Week. So you guys, it's Tim Walz. We're going to give Commie of the Week this week to Tim Walz, and he has certainly earned it with his remarks. Let's take a listen.
Get out there, reach out, make the case. And for one thing, don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
So apparently, Tim Walz, Congress is the oversight, the House Oversight and Accountability Committee Chair James Comer is pressing Alejandro Mayorkas on Tim Walz's connections to China, to communist China. Now, this is the same man that said that one person's socialism is just another person's neighborliness. Yeah, no. That's definitely socialism going straight down the road to communism. I don't know what Tim is talking about. And so, yeah, I do think we need to dig into this man's history because he seems to be a bit too comfortable for my taste to communist China. Y'all know I can't stand me a dirty commie. Can't stand them. They hate this country. And this is where I live and where my children will be raised. And so, no, I don't find it funny. It's not cute. It's not, oh, he's a bumbling dad. No, I don't think it's cute or funny with you trying to destroy my country. No, I don't. And so, yeah, I think he has very much so earned Communist of the Week. So, Tim, I'm going to need you to get it together, but I doubt you will. You and your crazy-eyed wife. Tim has gone on to say this. So, our friend Christopher Rufo found this article that said it's the Free Beacon dug up this old news article in which Tim Walz defines communism as a system in which, quote, everyone is the same and everyone shares. Sounds like Kamala Harris to me. He praised the CCP for providing food and housing rations, a real-life communism respecter. So this is Tim Walz. It says, I'm going to pick it up. It says, if they fail, they are workers and their academic career is done. When they finish school, they are about 17 or 18. Some wealthy families can buy their way into a school. Some students are 19 or 20. He told his students the nation is governed by communism. Quote, it means that everyone is the same and everyone shares, he said. Quote, the doctor and the construction worker make the same. The Chinese government and the place they work for provide housing and 14 kilograms or about 30 pounds of rice per month. They get food and housing. The age growing up now, born in the late 1970s, could have a brother or sister and the family would not have to pay a tax. This is crazy that this is how he would explain communism to children. The man is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, okay? He's not well. I think we have to face the facts that some of these people really actually do like communism, and our country has been infiltrated by these people. But what has not been infiltrated is sweetamine. So do you have any aches and pains? Chronic inflammation might be the culprit. Meet sweetamine, the natural way to fight inflammation, right here for you. Sweetamine is packed with the amino acid glycine, the same nutrient found in bone broth that helps regulate inflammation. Many of the diseases we face today are rooted in glycine deficiency. Just one daily serving of sweetamine provides 8 grams of glycine, enough to stop excess inflammation right where it starts. Most people feel pain reduction after just a few days. Perfect for a post-workout recovery, sweetamine is all natural, contains no sugar or carbs, which I love, and only has 24 calories. It's ideal for diabetics too. Use it like sugar in your favorite drinks, smoothies, or sprinkled on your cereal. Try our 12-day challenge trial pack for only $19.95 with free shipping. Completely risk-free. And for a limited time, enter promo code KING, that's K-I-N-G, at checkout for a $5 discount. Order Sweetamine now at sweetamine.com or call 855-GET-SWEET. That's 855-438-7933. Live pain-free with Sweetamine and take the challenge today. Sweetamine.com for you. There you go, you guys. Make sure you go ahead and get you some Sweetamine. You guys, it is very troubling where that we have so many people who are appreciating communism. We have Kamala, the Democrat front runner for president of the United States, her running mate, the whole progressive wing of the Democrat Party, and the people in our country that are growing their support for communism. Fortunately, it seems as though Kamala and her cronies and her comrades are not doing a very good job of selling this message, and the people are just, Americans are just not with it. We're not having it. So prayerfully, these people will be shut down on November 5th, but that means you have to vote. You have to go out and vote. I know we like to hear these street commentaries and the man on the street videos and, oh, Trump, Trump, Trump. But are they registered to vote? We don't know that. Make sure that you're telling people to go vote. Make sure you are helping your neighbors get registered to vote, doing what you can do to make sure that our country does not go the way of communism. I believe this is another chance that God has given us to say no to the gulags, okay? Get up, make sure you and 3 other people are registered to vote, and make sure that they're voting for Trump. Let me know what you guys think about our episode today in the comment section below. I would love to know what you think about what I think, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video out. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.